So I'm going to start this video by saying it's a tough one. It's one that's really awkward for me, and I really don't even want to make it. It's truly and entirely for you. I do have some explaining to do, and I think that you should know because my channel really hasn't been the same for the past 18 months. And I wanted to come clean and let you know what's up. So you know what's going on. Maybe you've noticed, well, you've definitely noticed that I haven't been making as many videos, and the time between videos has been extremely lengthy. Maybe you miss, the more regular videos. Maybe I'm not popping up in your algorithm as much anymore because my video intervals have gone way lengthy. Sometimes it's only 2 or 3 videos a month. There were some months I'd make a video a day. I definitely have not been smiling as much. Maybe some of you have noticed, and maybe even those of you who are keenly intuitive or empathic have noticed I haven't been smiling on the inside really much at all over the last 18 months. So I just wanted to let you know what's going on. For those of you that have been with me since day one, for those of you that might be wondering what's up, for those of you that want to see more content, maybe there are some of you who are kind of ambivalent about the future of the Coolest and his channel. Should I keep watching? Maybe you're on the fence. So I'm making the video to let you know what's up. I really don't enjoy talking about myself, and especially stuff like this. The way I was raised is that it's really rude to talk about yourself. That's why the camera is almost always facing the other direction, and why I'm almost always talking about things or the places I am or concepts. I'm rarely talking about myself because I got to live with myself. I know who I am. I've been traveling the world for the last 15 years. I already know what I'm going to say. I already know what I think. I would much rather explore a topic, explore a place, or listen to what you have to say, because I already know what's going on up here. When I made that Cozumel video, I guess around the start of the year, maybe it caught a few of you off guard. I used to make vulnerable videos all the time, but it's real easy to make vulnerable videos when nobody's watching. It's real easy to be vulnerable in public. See if I can find a better table here. It's real easy to be vulnerable in public when there is no public. But once you start, gaining some traction on YouTube, you have to be very cognizant that every video you put out is of the highest quality. I'm taking these off out of respect for you and respect for the subject matter. So I did put a few notes down. I just want to make sure I don't miss anything. I didn't even get a chance to write it all out. But everything I said in that Cozumel video where I need to fall in love again is true. I was burned out, and this can get monotonous. And I do miss some things about my business career. I had a prolific career. I was really good at what I did. It doesn't necessarily mean that's my passion or what I wanted to do, but everyone has to work unless you hit the genealogy or inheritance bloodline. But that wasn't really the root of the issue, falling back in love with travel. I meant everything I said. Everything I said was true. So I put out that challenge to hit 40 hotels in a year. But what that really was I think, a distraction from what was really going on. I did make a concerted effort to focus more on quality videos over quantity, the Mr. Beast type of mentality. I'm not necessarily sure that's the way to go. I think every creator has their own formula. I think you could pump a daily video and be successful. I think you could put out a video a month and be successful. But I focused on that, but that isn't necessarily the reason why I haven't been seeing you as much as I would have liked to. So I'm telling you this out of respect for you. For those of you who have been with me since day one, for those of you that want to see more content, for those of you who might have noticed a change in my attitude or behavior over the last 18 months. I'm going to tell you exactly the video where this happened, and kind of the evolution. The last 3 months have been extremely challenging, literally. And again, maybe some of you are on the fence about, whether you want to continue. My channel's kind of at an inflection point. I really do need to start taking it extremely seriously again. I mean, of course I am, but when I mean seriously, I mean like you have to live YouTube to be successful at it. And I've been living elsewhere, at least mentally, for the last 18 months. Ironically though, some of my best content and best videos in terms of success, popularity, have come over the last 18 months. And I guess that's the bright side, because I've been able to produce that good content while still, having my heart and mind elsewhere. So again, I'm not a victim. I actually feel I hit the lottery in life. Born in America. A lot of people work their entire life to save every single penny they have to come to America, so maybe their sons or the generation or generation after that can just have a chance at the alleged American dream. So I hit the lottery. Born in America, 2 phenomenal parents. I couldn't be luckier. So definitely not playing a victim, and we all have struggles. We all go through this, and we all certainly go through things in life, and it's relative, but there's an old saying that the toughest thing someone's been through is the toughest thing they've been through. Maybe someone worked their entire life, just trying to get out of the horrible, horrible regime of North Korea, trying to make it across that border in South Korea. And maybe there's a kid in the Hamptons where his hardest struggle was dedicating the summer to try to get the best ACT or SAT score to get into an Ivy League school. Each one of those is that individual person's hardest struggle. Relatively they're different, but still a struggle is a struggle. And over the last 18 months, this has definitely been mine. I'll never forget it. The video was Hard Rock Cancun is when I got the phone call. And I got a call from my mom, and she told me that my dad was in ICU, or even worse than ICU, at the Mayo Clinic. And obviously my first reaction was, I'll be right there. And she says, first of all, it was like 8 p.m. at night. There wasn't a flight. She says, honestly, not don't bother, but there's nothing you can do. They're going to know fate or destiny in 12 hours. Hooked up to every machine, not even, living on his own. We'll find out your dad's fate in the morning. There's nothing you can do. He's not even cognizant. So, you guys know The Rock. I mean, everyone knows The Rock, right? One of the most popular actors, entertainment people, just personas, people in general in the world. And people seem to love The Rock. I like him. I think he's a good guy. I don't adore him, but I think a couple of the most fascinating things about The Rock is his attitude. He's got an amazing attitude. One reason for that is that he had an incredible father. But one of my favorite stories about him is that he was pulling on set for the first day of a brand new movie, one of his biggest blockbuster films. And he gets a call as he pulls right into his parking spot right up front, and he's taking the call, and people are walking by, and he's waving to the production people and everyone he knows at the studio. And he just got news that his father died right then and there on his first day. And I think any regular normal person would have immediately just gone home, quit, for the day, take time away, and take some time off and just address what that scenario takes. And if you know anything about The Rock's dad, he was bulletproof, man. He was a drill sergeant. He was a tough dude. He was also a wrestler, and the main mantra in wrestling is that the show must go on. The show must go on. life goes on. The show has to continue. And you know what The Rock did? He went to work that day because that's what his dad would have wanted him to do. That's how he was raised. Of course, he, made sure that he took care of everything and was present during all that stuff. But he went to work that day because the show must go on. And I only had 18 hours left in Cancun anyway. I put on my game face for that Hard Rock Cancun video, finished it up, and then went home. And I've been putting on a game face ever since. We all have a lot of fears in life. We could all name like the top 3. Public speaking, death, heights. There's some weird ones out there. My biggest fear ever in life is losing my dad. He pulled through. He pulled through. The Mayo doctor said they'd never seen anything like it. The Mayo Clinic gave him a 1 in a million chance of surviving whatever put him into that shocked, comatose state that night. They said it was a miracle. It turns out he had stage 4 cancer. Didn't tell anyone. For some reason, didn't feel like he wanted. I don't think he knew, or he just recently found out. He found out a few weeks prior to that. I think it was maybe a treatment or a reaction that put him into that state, but he didn't tell anyone. Didn't want to bother anyone. Didn't want to affect our mental state. That's what a warrior he was. But long story short, I really cherished every moment after that to be with him. And I knew that he was on the clock. It was stage 4. So I spent as much time as I could with him. And that's basically where I've been. Every UFC, every, steak dinners every night. He loved Ozarks. He loved Ted Lasso. He's not even a Ted Lasso guy. Ted Lasso. Every single second that I wasn't at a hotel, I was with him. And editing a video, by the way, for me takes 4 days to shoot and 7 days to edit. Usually, so that's an 11-day period. That's why, it's hard for me to put out, 3 to 4 quality videos a month. And it's really hard to edit when your dad is next door, with on borrowed time, literally on miraculous borrowed time. So it's been really hard to turn on the camera. I've been mentally paralyzed, literally mentally paralyzed for the last 18 months. And I've tried to put on, my game face. I'm never fake. I'll always bring the energy, but I can't fake happiness. So that's why if I've seemed a little off or not as enthusiastic or not smiling as much, and if you keen folks out there have noticed that I probably haven't been smiling on the inside, that is why. Because my biggest fear was right in front of my face. So, long story short, he recently passed. And again, we all go through this. Sometimes, it's swift and brutal, and sometimes it's long and insidious, but either way it sucks. And he was my best friend. He was my everything. He was my hero. Mom, I know you're watching this. I love my mom just as much, but there's a special relationship between a father and a son, and he was everything. He was a mentor, a leader, a coach, that guiding hand, that person I could always call, one of the few people who really knew me, intellectually. We could have conversations, and ranging from the Green Bay Packers to the deep state. Just he was my best. He was my everything, literally my life. And to lose that is really, really tough. So I was facing that for the last 18 months, and then just recently, that fear hit me right in the face. I want to say a couple things. First of all, he loved YouTube. He questioned it at first. A lot of you guys don't know this, but I gave up my career to chase my passion of travel. You know, YouTube is just kind of happened. But I mean, money doesn't mean anything anymore. You know, a 10 is the new $1 bill, but, you know, pre-COVID, listen, I didn't come from much. For those that know me personally, you know the city I grew up in and the house I lived in, the clothes I wore, and the opportunities I had. By no means was it the Harlem Projects, but also by no means was it a swanky suburb outside of any, you know, average metro area. My parents literally sacrificed everything they had, you know, to help me have a better life. And, you know, I definitely had a very successful career. And these days, you know, after COVID, in terms of inflation, probably making closer to 7 figures than 5. But I was miserable. I was miserable. There's no point of having everything you want when you're empty and hollow on the inside. And you can try to mask it with girls and supercars and a house and fancy clothes, but deep down when you're miserable, there's nothing that's gonna fill it. And I called my dad and I said, I think I'm gonna travel and try to do YouTube. And of course he questioned my sanity. He didn't know anything about YouTube. But he said, you know, James, everything you've always set your mind to, you've accomplished. And that's just the type of person he was. Guys, he was my biggest fan. He was my he didn't get it at first. It took him a while. But at the end, you know, he watched every video and just was obsessed with all the facets that went into the video. You know, whether it was the technology, the editing, you know, he was a business guy, so he understood how to position yourself. You know, every video is a product. He understood, you know, he started learning about search engine optimization. The algorithm just completely fascinated him. He read every comment. And I said, Dad, please don't read the comments. You know, I mean, at the time I had like 300 subs. He started watching and I wasn't the best. I'm like, Dad, please don't read the comments. Thankfully, all of you have been fantastic. 99% of you are just so supportive. And that's actually the best thing about doing this whole channel, is that I'm able to connect with like-minded people. I had no idea that there were so many people out there that love to travel the way that I do. I didn't think many did. You know, with the cool drinks and the rooftop lounges and the fun hotels. All of you have been great. But by the way, for any of you that do make negative comments, I don't think hardly any of you are watching this video, but just remember, that's someone's son or husband or wife. And even more than that, that's someone putting themselves out there in public, trying to help you, doing something they love, or chasing their dreams. And at least they have the courage to put themselves out there and to do those things. And you know, for me personally, I don't focus on anything negative. I just saw someone at a previous hotel, and I lift people up. I want people to be, you know, I don't care if someone's better than me. I only compete against myself. And I just saw a worker at a hotel, and I said, you know what, man, your personality is electric. He was. The way he was able to connect with people and engage people and attract people, I just said, hey man, I gotta say, your energy is incredible, and you could do whatever you wanted to do. You should harness that in whatever way you want. Me personally, I would never leave anything negative. If I see a shirt I don't like, I walk away and never think about it again. If there's a girl who I don't like, we're just not gonna talk anymore. If there's a video I don't like, I click away. And if there's someone I don't like, I'm certainly not gonna waste time or energy mean mugging them or take effort to write a comment. Really, people who do that, well, you know, hurt people. And anyone who really focuses on someone that they don't like, I think, is actually a weird form of stalking. And from an anonymous standpoint, I think it's the purest form of cowardice and pathetic. But anyway, luckily all of you guys have been fantastic, and I love all of you. You guys are so supportive. But he loved reading the comments. He'd be like, who's this and who's that? Like that. I don't know these people. But I do want to say, side note, by the way, for every one of you that do comment, thank you, because I'm able to identify, you know, who comments the most, which people support the channel the most, you know, which people like cruises, you know, which people like the Bellagio. I don't want to name any names, but I know who my top people are. And everyone who clicks and walks in the subs, I love all of you. But for those of you that comment positively or just in general to help the algorithm, it really means a lot, so thank you. But he ended up being my ultimate fan. And instead of saying, you know, you're giving up everything you worked your entire life for, you know, all the academia, you know, the 15 years to travel, are you insane? And I just said, Dad, I want to be happy, and he supported it. So anyway, you know, it's weird because when that moment finally came, I was hit with a couple different things. First of all, obviously shell-shocked, obviously devastated, but grateful. Grateful that I had such an amazing person in my life and that I had that person for decades. He was a wonderful, marvelous person to so many people. His turnout, I'll probably have like 4 people at mine, okay? His turnout, like there was a line around the block and I had that guy front row seats, you know, pretty much every day of my life for decades. So my response was one that was, I don't want to say joyous, because that's not a joyous time, but I've never been more grateful and thankful that I got that guy. That guy was my dad. And then secondly, I've never been more inspired to be a greater person, to chase my dreams even further, to evolve even more, and to live in his honor and to be a greater man. I carry his name, and I want to be the best. I mean, I always try to, you know, be the best person that I can. I always have the mantra, excellence or nothing. Really, excellence or nothing. That's always been my mantra, and I really want to even try to take that to the next level and just, you know, be the great man that he raised me to be. But anyway, long story short, now that you know, once people face their fears, they usually get over them. And the last 18 months, it's been something that's been staring me in the face, and I've been paralyzed, and it's been tough. But I want to say I'm ready to get back to, you know, inherently having fun. I'm always having fun, but it was really tough to be away. Every time I was on location, I had that in the back of my mind. And I don't know if really I truly was, you know, happy. I probably wasn't. But I want to get back to being happy. I want to get back to pumping out content. I miss being on camera regularly. I miss making, you know, some of those videos. And yeah, they might not hit, but I miss making the daily videos. I miss the regularity and familiarity of being on camera. And for the YouTube algorithm, it really is use it or lose it. You really do have to pump content. And you know, one thing about me is that I never do any filler content. You know that, right? There's never any fluff. There's never any elongated anything. The video's the video, whether it's 8 minutes or 28 minutes. But I really do want to get, you know, back on camera and exploring different topics and trying new stuff. And, you know, that was one of the, I think, main catalysts for my success, is just trying new wacky stuff. The cost videos, what it's like flying to Punta Cana. You know, some of the stuff that I just did as a joke ended up being, you know, some of my most popular videos. So anyway, that is where I've been. This is actually my first trip. since he's passed. I came back from Jamaica, and it happened shortly after that, so I did get a chance to spend some time with him. And by the way, another reason my content has been so spotty, I mean, the main reason is because I've been spending every possible second with my dad, that I haven't been traveling. And then side note, again, this is a first world problem. Again, my life is good. But I had 2 Jamaica trips. On my first one, both of my laptops fell and smashed to a point where I had to go home immediately and fix them. My Cozumel content was on there. Looking back, that wasn't the most popular content, so I shouldn't have invested so much time and effort into recovering that. But I did have to fix my computers. And then as soon as I got here for this trip, I lost my external hard drives, 4 of them, which had all of my content on it. Good hard drives too, like Samsung T9. I used that SanDisk Pro Blade series with the swappable blades. Really, really high-end equipment. I mean, $2,000 worth of hard drives, and then, I mean, who knows how much that data is worth. The way I look at it is that I need to take a lesson from it. Do I need to slow down? Do I need to center myself? Was that meant to happen? Am I moving too fast? Do I need to live in the moment more? Do I need to make a change? I don't know. That's the way I look at it. Not woe's me, you know, oh, I lost $2,000, you know. Should have I been more organized? Yeah. Is that highly uncharacteristic of me? Of course, I've never done that before in my life. But yeah, so laptops smashed in Jamaica, fly back, had to do another trip. And then as soon as I got on this trip, the rest of that Jamaica content and other content, I lost my external hard drive case filled with all of them at my first hotel. Actually, this hotel is where I lost it. They can't find it. I never had a chance to really even film this hotel, mainly because I had to put out a video. I worked the entire time. But on a positive note, this hotel, I think, could be incredible. It's so good, I actually came back here to do the video. Like, this hotel has an opportunity, when you account for value, to possibly be a top 3, if not #1 hotel where I am right now. So I'm really excited to be here, and I'm really excited just to open up, get that off my chest, and let you know where I've been. I hope this video comes across the right way. Really, it's meant for you, for those of you that might have been worried about my release schedule, for those of you that might have been, you know, fallen away from the channel, for those of you who might have noticed a shift in my behavior, for those of you that have noticed I wasn't smiling as much, or haven't been maybe happy internally. I'm letting you know why. But I've never been more inspired than ever to chase my travel dreams, or to chase my dreams in general. You know, you never know how long this YouTube thing is going to last, but I want to let you know that I think that chapter, or that phase of my life, that dark period, has closed. And obviously miss my dad every single day. He was my biggest YouTube fan. But instead of, you know, being sorrowful, I'm very, very grateful. And I'm inspired every day to be the great man he was, and to be a better person.